Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with your same module, that is the website design, and the same tutorial, that is the HTML. In the last class we have finished with the chapter number 11, 12, 13 and 14. That is based on the link. One is a normal link, one is a image link, and one is a text link. That is all used with the linking, that is used with the HTML. So one is the normal link, that is the text link, one is the email link, one is the image link. We have discussed 3 chapters in the last class, so let's take a quick review what we have covered in the last class, then move to a today's topic, that is the HTML frame. That is how to divide the same browser window into the multiple parts, that is known as the HTML frames. So let's start with chapter number 12 first of all. So this is the chapter number 12, that is the HTML text link, that is how to use or what are the various links that is used with the HTML, that is the HTML text links. So web page can contain various links that you can take to directly move to the other pages and even specific parts of a given page. That is the HTML text links, and these links are known as the hyperlinks. So whenever we create a link, that link is known as a hyperlink in the HTML. And hyperlinks also allows the visitors to navigate between the websites by clicking on the word. So when I click on the word, it moves to the new location, new location, new location. So automatically it moves to a new location, that is now known as the hyperlink, that is known as the linking for the HTML. I recommend to go through a short tutorial on understanding the URL. This is given. Then we will discuss how to link the document. A tag that is used, that is the anchor tag, that is ahref equals to document URL. Document URL means the path by which we can move, or we can move the location from one part to the another part, that is a URL, that is a document URL. Then the attribute list, that is there are multiple attribute lists that is available. Then link text, that is the content or the area by which we can add the text, that is a link text. And then the A, that is the closing of the A, that is the anchor is closed. So an HTML head, title, head, body, then P in the paragraph it is used as a P, then ahref equals to this one. This is known as a URL that is used, and the target is the self, then tutorial point that is given. This is tutorial point. When you click on the tutorial point, it will move to the new location. It will move to the www.tutorialpoint.com, that is home page of the tutorial.com. That is we have discussed in the last class. Then the target attribute, that is what is the meaning of target attribute, that is used for the self. For example, we have used then use of the base path. So we have also discussed that is how to use the base path, that is the relative path and the absolute path. So make the base path so that it can be used. So make the one path as a base path, and one path is given in the program, so that the base path and the relative path or the absolute path that is given, that is merged together with the base path. That is the use of the base. So when you link HTML document related to the same website, it is document header, and this tag is used to give a base path for all the links. So a browser will concatenate the relative path to this base path and will make a complete URL. So automatically that will move to the new path, that will move to the new location. क्या करूँ मैं इसका? So that will move to the new location, new area that is given by the specific task. So automatically the relative part is must merge with the base path, so that to make the complete path. This is the program that shows how to use the base path we have discussed. This is the base href equals to this one. So this is one URL and this is the relative URL, and now base path, that is this URL is merged with this one, so that the first of all there is a HTTP, then this one, this one, this one, and then it is merged with the HTML index page. It is used with the index page of the HTML, that is the index.html, and this is the URL that is merged that we have discussed. Then next is a linking to a page. section, that is how to make the linking to a different page sections. So we can also move from up to the down to the up, that is the multiple sections of the page, that is a multiple page section. So we can also create the page linking, we can also create the linking between the different sections of a particular web page by using the name attribute. There are two steps by which we can give. In this we are giving the name equals to top. That means that automatically when you click on this one, that is a 8 anchor tag, that is a hashtag, so it automatically moves to the moves to the top, that is it automatically moves to the beginning of the HTML page. The second step is to create a hyperlink to link the document and place where you want to reach. So that is a href equals to this one, that is go to the top. This will produce the following link where you can click on the link generated and go to the top to reach to the top of the document. So when you click on the go to the top, it will move to the beginning of the document. The next is setting the link color. That is how you can set the link colors. That is setting the link color. So you can also change the colors of the linking. That is the colors of the text that for which you can apply the hyperlink. So that is done by using the linking. That is a link equals to this one link v link. So you are applying the linking by different parts. Then next we have discussed, that is the download link. So we can also download the links by using the PDF, doc file or the zip file. This is the format, that is how to use the PDF file, how to download the page file. Then we have discussed about the chapter number 13, that is HTML image links. That is how to link the image to a particular page. That is we are applying the formatting, we are applying the linking, we are applying the hyperlink to the image. So first of all the image will be inserted, then when you click on the image a new page will be opened, that is a hyperlink to the image, that is the HTML image link. So we have seen how to create the hypertext using the text and the using the text. Now this chapter contains, that is how to make the linking to the images in our web page. So that is how to create the hyperlinks. It's simple to use an image as a hyperlink. We just need to use an image inside the hyperlink at the place of the text as shown below. So as shown below it is used. This is the image example, hyperlink example. So first of all, given the anchor tag, instead of the giving the content beyond the anchor tag, that is beyond this one, so this is the image tag that will be used. So the image will be inserted as well as there will be a linking on the image, because we are using under the a tag, and then a tag will be closed after inserting the image. Clear? So first of all the a, that means the by which or to which you want to navigate, that is a destination. Then the img src, that is the image src, that is used for the linking to the images. And this is the old, that is the alternative name if the image is not available. That alternative name is given as a tutorial point. This is we have discussed with our example. We have taken my pictures from one of my system that is available, and this was the simplest way of creating the hyperlink using the images. Now next is the mouse sensitive images, that is how to use the mouse sensitive images. There are two parts by which we can use, we have discussed. One is the server side image map, one is the client side image map. For server side image map we have to use the IO map or the IS map that is used. Then we have discussed about the coordinate system. We are also able to give the coordinate system, that is a x1 y1 x2 y2 radius, that is whatever the coordinate system that we are using in the maps, that we can give in the HTML links also to move to the location, to move to the HTML parts. Then we have discussed about the chapter number 14, that is HTML email links. That is what are the various email links so that we directly our page directly jump to the email, that is the email or HTML email links. So it is not difficult to put up an HTML email link on your web page, but you can cause unnecessary spamming problem for your email account. There are people who can run programs to harvest these types of email and later use for the various purposes. So this is a simple example. Check our context as form. We take user feedback using this form, and then we are using the CGI program, that is a common gateway interface program, that is used to collect the program, or that is used to collect the information. Then HTML email tag that is used. So this is a href equals to mail to abc@example.com. So this is used as a, we can say, the linking. The linking will be provided to the directly to the email ID that is given. So whatever the content that will be given, that is directly jump to the email ID of a person that is given over here. That is a mail to abc@example.com. Then send email. That means whenever you click on the send email, you directly moves to your email ID. This is the output. When you click on send email, it directly moves to the outlook.com that contains this email ID, that is a mail to abc@example.com. Next is the default settings. That is how to use the default setting that is used. So you can specify a default email subject and email body along with your email address. This is the example of the default setting that will be used. Now next chapter is the chapter number 15, that is the today's topic, that is the HTML frames. So frames are nothing but the division of the same web page into the multiple part, that is known as the frames. So HTML frames means dividing the HTML page, that is the HTML web page, into the multiple sections, that is known as the HTML frames. So let's see the paragraph or introduction. HTML frames are used to divide your browser window. As I said, the web page, so this is the browser window. So HTML frames are used to divide the browser window into multiple sections. Multiple section means multiple parts, where each part contains the HTML or a separate HTML document. So first of all, divide the main browser window into multiple parts, and then each section or each part contains the separate HTML document, that is the HTML frames. A collection of frames in the browser window is known as the frame set. So whenever we combine two or three or two or more frames within one window, that is in one window, in one section, we are applying another HTML document, another HTML document, another. So there are three frames, for example, of the 50, 25, 25, for example. Then the whole area is known as the frame set because it is a combination of different frames. And the window is divided into frames by similar way that we are used in the table, that is how to create a table, into rows and the columns. So we are able to divide the main browser window into the rows as well into the columns. So we can divide by rows, that is in the horizontal way, as well we are also able to divide into the column, that is in the vertical ways. That is the HTML frames. Now next topic is the disadvantages of the frames, that is what are the various limitations of the frames. So there are few drawbacks with using frames, so it is never recommended to use frames in a web page. So there are multiple drawbacks that will be used, limitation that will be used with the frames, so it is never, or it's never recommended to use frames in your web page. So it's not recommend that you can use the frames because it is very lengthy process, as well as there are so many drawbacks. Now let's see what are the various drawbacks. The first point says some smaller devices cannot cope up with the frames, often because their screen is not big enough to be divided. So whenever you take the HTML page into the smaller devices like your notepad, like your iPad, that you are not able to see the screen fully, or you are not able to see the screen efficiently, because that screen will be divided into multiple parts, and if you see the small screen, that part or that tiny part will not be visible within the frames. Second point says, second limitation of the frame is that sometimes your page will be displayed differently on the different computers due to the different screen resolution. Because if you divide the same page into the multiple part, but if the different computer have a different limitations, if a different computer have a different resolution, that is the screen resolution, that will be different, that will be differently used with the different computers due to the different screen resolution. So you are not able to cope up with the screen, you are not able to cope up with the target, because a different computer have a different screen resolution. So whenever you are using the frame, so that is different from the system to system. So it's also one of the disadvantages. That's why it's advised that you are not able to, or you are not using the frames, HTML frames in the HTML, because these are some limitations. Now the next limitation is that the browser's back button might not work as a user hopes. So there is no back button that is used within the HTML frames, so we cannot move back to the last previous web page in the browser window when we are using the HTML frame. This is also one of the major disadvantage, because we are in a we can say the habit of moving backward by using the back button, but there is no back button in case of the HTML frames, right? Then the last one, or last limitation, is that there are still few browsers that do not support the frame technology, and there are some browser that is also available that does not support the frame technology, because it depends on the browser to browser. So if you run the program at some other location, at some other place, so if there is no browser, supportable browser is available, so that page will not be opened. So this is also one of the disadvantages of the frames. So these are the 4 disadvantages of the frames. So it's advisable not to use the HTML frames. Next is creating the frame. That is now how to create the frames. What are the various tags that is used to for creating the frames? So to use the frames on a page, we use the frame set tag. So which tag is used for the creating the frame? That is a frame set tag. That is FRAMESET. That is a frame set tag instead of the body tag. This is one of the important line. So if we are using the frame set tag, so do not use the body tag, because this is only the frame set that divides the main body or the whole body of the browser window into the multiple parts. So whenever we use the frame set tag, so it's not used, or it's not advisable to use the body tag. So you can use either the frame set tag or either the body tag. The frame set tag defines how to divide the window into different frames. That is how to divide the main window or how to divide the main browser window into the multiple frame. The rows attribute of the frame set tag defines horizontal frames, and columns attribute of defines vertical frames. So the rows attribute of the frame set. So whatever the rows that is available, that is a rows attribute that defines the horizontal frames. That means they are dividing the main browser into multiple part. That is the horizontal part, that is known as the horizontal frames. That is done with the use of the rows. And the columns means the vertical columns or the vertical frames. That is the column attribute defines the vertical frames. And each frame is divided or indicated by a frame, and each frame is indicated by the frame tag. So one is a frame set, that is a combination of the frame that is either divided into the rows and the columns, or the columns. So that horizontal rows are known as the horizontal frames, and the vertical, that is the column wise frames, are known as the vertical frames. And each frame is indicated by the frame tag, and it defines which HTML document shall open into the frame. That is, which HTML document will be used to open into the frame, that is the creating the HTML frame. This is one of the example. This is the no frame, that the body, then your browser does not support the frame. So this is the we can say the one program that is missing over here. This is the output that is divided into multiple 3 parts. Now let us put the example where replacing the rows attribute by the columns. So this is the given by the columns, so by which we can also relate with the rows. So this is one of the column that is used, and change their width. This will create all the 3 frames vertically. Now this is on the basis of the column. So here it is mentioned, that is a frame set cols equals to, that means dividing the total frame into 3 columns, that is a 25, 50, 25. That is the 3 columns will be merged, or 3 columns will be used, that is the 25%, 50% and the 25%. So let us put together the example as follows. As we replace the rows and change their weights, this will create all the 3 frames vertically. So this is the doc type HTML, then HTML, then head, then title. And what is the title? That is the HTML frames. Then the title will be closed, then the head will be closed. Then the frame set, that is the frame set means the frame set tag will be used. Then cols, that is the columns equals to 25%, 50% and 25%. So there are 3 columns that is used. One column width, or the first column width, is the 25%, next column width is the 50%, next column width is the 25%. So these are available in the 3 columns, that is 25, 50, 25. And then these frames content will be available within the frame tag. That is the frame name equals to left, src equals to this one. Then frame name equals to center, src source equals to this one. Then frame name equals to right, src equals to this one. So this is available within the frames. That is a combination of the frames are known as the frame set. So this is a frame set. Then columns equals to 25, 50, 25. then frame, that is a name equals to, that is there are three frames that will be given. One frame has a name, that is a left, so that this name, that is a center, left and right, will be used in the coding part whenever we use the PLSQL. So it is not up to your level right now, because but remember that whenever we are using the frame, we are giving the names. So this is frame, name equals to left, then source equals to, what is the source? That means the first part, the first 25% part contains the frame.html page, that is the top frame.html page. In the same way, the 50% that contains the HTML mainframe.html. Then right, that is 25% that contains a source, that is the HTML frame.html. Then there is a no frame, that is a no frame. Then there will be a body, that is there is no frame, means this is not in considered within the frame. Now the body will be used. Your browser does not support the frame, body close, no frame close, frame set close, HTML close. This is the output. The top frame, main frame, bottom frame. Now let's execute this code. Press the Ctrl C, go to the notepad, now press Ctrl V, now save the file. By frames.html. This is frames.html. Double click on it, it will be open. So when you double click on it, it will open in the browser. So this takes a time, so let's again go with this code. That is, what is this code? This is, first of all, there is a HTML and doc type, then that is a document type, then there will be HTML, then head, then title. What is the title? That is HTML frames, head will be closed, then frame set will be, tag will be used, that divides the frame size into three columns, that is the 25%, 50% and the 25. Three parts or three columns, because specify the goals, so that divide into multiple into the vertical direction, that is the 25%, 50% and the 25%. The name equals to left, center, this is the source that is given. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, are you able to hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Are you able to hear me? Hello, hello, hello. My voice is audible to each and everyone? Hello. Hey, Joseph and the Larry, my voice is audible to you? All right, Larry, thanks. So let's start with the session. So this is the left, that is the first part that contains that is stored in the first we can see the left, that is the left, then src equals to this one, and that is what is the source of the first column, that is 25%, that is the left part, then center, that is 50%, then source equals to this one, that is the main frame, then bottom frame, then there is a no frame that will also be used. Then no frame will also be used over here, then body, then frame set. Now if you click on this, there are three parts, there are three divisions that will be available. These files are not available because why these files are not available, because this is not available is in our system, this is available in the book system, that is the book content. So if I give the our book content, that is a link C, link I, link D, that is a CID, that is a link C, link C dot html. If I want to save this file, go to this one, refresh the file. This is available in first part, that is a one, that is a link C. In the same way, one more, that is a link I, then link D. In this also there is a dot. Now let's move to this one, put the refresh. This is not coming, I don't know why. Now let's see, this is link c.html. There is one more gap, that gap will be removed, or we can also use the HTML because we have saved the file with the HTML only. Now this is available. The first part contains the file that we have created yesterday, that is a link C, that is a link C, that is a color, then link I, that is a link email, I, that is a D, that is a download the file. So these are available in three formats, that is the same page, same browser window is divided into three parts, and each part contains a three HTML, that is a separate HTML document. This is the first part, this is the second part, this is the third part. Look, this is the 25%, this is the 50%, this is the 25%. If we are changing the values to the 50, or we can say the 33, 34, and then again the 33. Now let's see, this is divided into the equal part, this is equal part, that is 33, 33, 34. Last one is 34 because 100 is not totally divided by the 3, there is some decimal value, and the computer does not take the decimal value. So this is 33, 33, and 34. So we can change according to our style. Now thus if the same task I have to do with the rows, that is ROWS, rows. Now let's see, the whole page will be divided into three horizontal part, that is the three rows. That is the first part contains the I, or the first part contains the C, then I, then D. That is three HTML files will be used. So we can either specify with the columns, either we can specify with the rows. But the general that that most of the persons is using, that is the columns, because that divides the browser into three multiple parts, and we can give the any numbering that we are using. and we can also divide the browser window into the 4 parts, 5 parts, as per my requirement, as per the requirement. But the total of that this percentage is the 100%. That is 33, 34, 30, 33. Total says the 100%. In the same way, 25, 25, 50. That also total says the 100%. Because the size of the or the width of the browser window is always the 100%. Now my question is to Joseph and Larry. This program is clear to each and everyone, because this is one of the important program that is used in the frame set. So this is clear to each and everyone, Joseph and the Larry. Okay, what about Joseph? It's this program is clear to you? Yes, Joseph, this program is clear to you? There is no reply from the Joseph. Now, now my question is, take out a pencil. Now, you have to create a web page. This is my web page, and there are one part like this one part like this one part like this one, and the first part contains only the 10%. This is 10%, and this part contains the 20%. This part contains the 30%, and this part contains the remaining 40%. And you have to create the page, show me the coding right now. This is your assigned task for this time only. That is you have to create the frame that divides the column into 4 parts, the 10, 20, 30, 40. You have to write the code and give to me with the help of the chat. Right now you are doing this task. This is the task that is given. All right, Larry, this is your task. First part contains 30%, 10, 20, 30, 40. This is your window. You have to check it over here. I'm waiting for your reply, Larry. To do this task or no? Larry, tell me, are you able to do this task, or can I give you a solution, or can I help you? Larry, this program is not correct, because you are using the 4 frames over here. That is, you are dividing the columns into the 4 frames. That is the 10, 20, 30, 40, right? but you are using only three frames names. These are the only three frames name that you are using: left, center, right. It's not mandatory to use the names like this one given in the book, no, but you can choose your own name. So one is a left, okay, center, okay, right, okay, but the fourth one you can give any name. For example, verified, any name we are giving. There is no hard and fast rule that you are giving the name left, right, center, no, but the main condition is that if you divide the column into the four parts, so you have to give the frames or the frames name into the, or the frame source into the four parts. All right, Larry, this is clear to you, Larry? This is not a correct program. You are only giving the three frames, but you have to give the four frames because you are divided into the four parts. Is that clear, Larry? Hello. All right. So let's move to next part. Now, what are the various attributes, or what are the various tag attribute that will be used, or what are the various attribute that will be used with the frame set tag? So there are multiple attributes that are also used with the frame set tag. Now, let's see what are the various attribute. The first is the columns. The first attribute that is given is the columns, that specify how many columns are contained in the frame set and the size of each frame. That is, we can specify how many columns are available within the frame sets, or how many columns are, or we are dividing the main browser window into the how many columns. That is, specify how many columns are maintained or contained in the frame set and the size of each column. So we are specifying the size by the 10%, 20%, 25%. You can also specify the width of each column in the four ways. So these are the four ways by which we can specify the width of the columns, or the column width. The first is the absolute value. So we can also give in the pixel format, that is absolute value in the pixels, that is 100 pixel, 500 pixel and the 100 pixels. So to create the vertical frames, we use the 100, 500, 100. That means the total pixel that is used in the column wise, that is a vertical, that is a 700, and in the rows wise it is a 800. This is 800 by 700, or the 700 by 800. So the first example says it is divided into pixels. If we are giving the exact value, that is 100, 500, 100, that is 100, 500, that is a 600 plus 100 is 700. So there are total 700 pixels, and the first part contains only the 100 pixels. Then middle one, that is the largest window, that is contains the 500 pixels, and the last one that contains the 100 pixels. Then a percentage, we are also giving the percentage, that is a column format, and that is a percentage of the browser window. For example, to create three vertical frames, we use the columns equals to 10%, then 80%, then 10%. The three parts, that is the 10, 80 and the 10. So first part contains the 10%, then 80%, then 10%. So pixels, how many pixels are, just a minute, Larry. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Keep it up, Larry. This is the correct program, Larry. Very good. You are dividing the browser window into the four parts, and the four frames will be given. So now we are talking about the attributes. Listen over here, Larry. Concentrate on this part. So the first is the absolute value we are giving, that is giving in the pixels, and there are total 700 pixels in the column format, right, in the vertical direction. Or we can either give in the percentage, that is a total 100%. So we are giving the 10, 80, 10, that is total the 100 percentage. Or we are also using the wildcard symbol, that is the third part. For example, to create three vertical frames, we use 10% pointer, that is a wildcard system, that is a 10%. In this take, in this case, the wildcard takes the remainder of the window, that is 10 plus 20 is 20. So middle one contains automatically the 80%, because total browser window is of 100%, and 10 is occupied. So there is a remaining part, that is the 80% is left. So that is a 10, 80, 10. Right. The fourth part is a relative width of the browser window, or as the relative width of the browser window. That is also one of the main, one of the target, or one of the, we can say, the criteria that is used with the columns attributes. So as relative width of the browser window, for example, to create three vertical frames, use columns 3, 2, 1. That is the relative weight, that is a 3 star, 2 star, 1 star. This is the alternative to the percentage, that is the alternative that is given to the percentage. And you can use the relative width of the browser window. So we are also using the relative width that is used with the browser window. So to create the 3 vertical frames, use the cols equals to 3 asterisk and the 2 asterisk and the 1 asterisk. And this is an alternative to the percentage. And you can use the relative width of the browser window. As the window is divided into 6, that is a 6 part, that is in 6 parts. The first column takes up the half of the window, that is a 3 star, and the second takes on the 1/3, that is a 2 by 6, and the third one contains a 1/6, because 3 into 2, that is 6, into 1 is 6. So one first contains the third or the 3 6, that is the third 6, that is the 1 by 2. Another also contains the 2 6, that is the 1 by 3. Another contains the 1 by 6. So there are 3 parts. One is a 3 by 6, then 2 by 6, then 1 by 6. Now this is the attribute, that is a columns attribute. There are 4 parts by which we can specify the columns. Now next is the rows attribute, that is how we are specifying the rows. So this attribute works just like the columns attribute and takes the same values. The values are same, either we can give in the percentage, either we can give in the pixel, anything that we are using, the same as we use in the columns. This attribute works just like the columns attribute and takes the same value, but it is used to specify the rows in the frame set. Now it is the horizontal form browser window, or the horizontal division of the browser window, not the vertical position. For example, to create 2 horizontal frames, we use the rows equals to 10% and the 90%. That is, the rows equals to 10%, comma 90%. That means the first part contains only the 10%, that is the upper browser window. Then the last browser window, that is in the rows format, that contains the 90%. And you can specify the height of each row in the same way as explained for the columns. Next, border. So one is the columns, one is the rows. Now next is the border. We can also specify the border in the frame sets. So this attribute specifies the width of the border of each frame in pixels. So we are also specifying the border of the each frame, that we are specifying in the pixel. For example, if I am writing border equals to 5, that means the width of the frame that is used, that contains the 5 pixel of the border. A value of the 0 means no border. So if I am giving border equals to 0, that means there is no border of the frame. That is also one of the attribute. Now next is the frame border. This attribute specifies whether a 3-dimensional border should be displayed between the frames. So if I am getting the frames, if I am dividing the vertical frames or the browser window into the multiple vertical parts, so the frame border divides or provides a very good thickness or 3-dimensional border in between the different frames on the browser window. This attribute contains values either 1, either yes, or 0, that is no. For example, frame border equals to 0 specifies no border. Then next is the frame spacing. This attribute specifies the amount of space between the frames in the frame set. So if I want to apply the spacing between the 2 frames, that is specified by the frame spacing attribute. So this specifies the amount of space between the frames in the frame set. This can take any integer value. We can give any integer value, that may be 10, 20, 30, any integer value. For example, frame spacing equals to 10 means there should be 10 pixels spacing between each frames. So we can also give the spacing between between the different frames, that is in the vertical position. So we are giving by using the frame spacing. So one is a border, one is a frame border, one is a frame spacing. So these are the attributes that will be used. One is the rows, one is the columns, one is the border, one is the frame border, one is the frame spacing. Now next is the frame tag attribute. So this is the frame set tag attribute. Now next is the frame attribute, that is what we are giving in this frame tag. One is the frame set tag, one is the frame tag. So what are the various attributes that will be discussed after the break. So let's take a break right now, then move to what are the various attributes that will be used within the frame tag. So let's take a break right now. Again, so next is the what are the various attributes that is used with the frame tag, that is the attribute that is available within the frame tag. So this is the attribute and the description of the attributes. So first is the SRC. The first attribute that is given is the SRC. This attribute is used to give the file name that should be loaded in the frame. So that is used, that it should be loaded in the frame, that is the SRC attributes, and its value can be any URL, that is any URL that is given, that is the SRC attribute, that is a frame tag attribute. So that is used to give the file name that should be loaded in the frame, and its value can be any URL that will be given. For example, SRC equals to HTML top frame.htm. So that will be used, that is used with the HTML frames, that will load an HTML file that is available in the HTML directory, that is a source, that is a SRC file, or the SRC attribute. That, for example, this is one of the example. In this we are giving the SRC, that is the frame SRC. What is the source? That means what is the content of the one of the file, that is one of the content of the one of the part, that is a frame tag attribute. So this is used to give the file name that should be loaded in the frame. Its value can be any URL. For example, source equals to HTML top frame.html will load an available file in the HTML directory, that is the SRC. The name, that is one of the important attributes. This attribute allows you to give a name to a frame. So this is the name of the frame, not the location, not nothing, but the name to the frame that is given, and it is used to indicate which frame a document should be loaded into. That is, what is the frame and which is the frame that is used to a document that should be loaded into. This is especially important when you want to create links in one frame that loads pages into another frame. So this is very important to create the links in the one form into the another form, in which case the second frame needs a name to identify itself as the target of the link, that is the name of the frame. So that is used to target of the frame, that is used to specify what are the various attributes that will be available with the frame tag. Then next is the frame border. Now the frame border will be used within the frame tag, that is the frame border. So this attribute, so this attribute allows you to give a name to a frame, that is used to allow give a name to a frame, that is a giving the name to the frame. It is used to indicate which frame a document should be loaded into, or this attribute specify whether you are giving the border of that frame are shown or not. It overrides a value given in the frame border attribute on the frame set, and we can take the value, or it can take the value either 1 or no, or 1 or 0. 1 means yes, no, or 0 means no. Then next is the margin width, that is the margin width. So these attributes allow you to specify the width of the space between the left and the right of the frame's border. So this will be used to specify the width of the space, that is what is the width that will be given, at the width of the space between the left and the right of the frame's border and the frame's content, that will be used. So what is the frame border, what is the frame content, that will be used, that is the frame border and the frame content, and the value that is given is available in the pixels. The value that is given, that is used with the pixels. For example, the margin width equals to 10. That means the 10 is used to specify the width of the space between the left and the right of the frame border. So this is given in the pixel format, or this is available in the pixel, that is the dot dot or the dot dot format, and this is available within the, or that is used to give the frame border and the margin width. So for example, margin width equals to 10, that is given in the 10 pixels. Then margin height, so this is the width, this is the height, and this attributes allows you to specify the height of the space between the top and the bottom of the frames border. That is a what is the height that is available between the top and the bottom of the frames border and its content. That is how it is used. What is the content that will be used, that will be available in the top and the bottom of the frames border, and its content that will be used within the frame tag. uh, so the one of the margin height that will be used, that is used to specify the height of the space between the top and the bottom of the frames border and its content, and the value that is given in the pixels. For example, margin height equals to 10. So it is available as a margin height equals to 10, that is used to specify the height of the space between the top and the bottom of the frames border. Then there is a no resize, that is there is no resize. So by default you can resize any frames by clicking and dragging on the borders of a frame. So by default you can resize any frames, so that will be available by clicking and dragging of the on the border of a frame, that is a no resize. So by default you can resize a frame by clicking and dragging on the borders that will be given of the frames, that is any border why we can click, that is a no resize. The no resize attributes prevents a user from being able to resize the frame. So it prevents the user, that is how to use the resize or how to use the how to resize the frame. For example, no resize equals to no resize. That means if you are dragging the content, for example, this is my content. This is available like this one. You can use it like this one. You can use it. You can use it for this one, right? So you can move like this, you can move. So you can change the content that is changed, that automatically the percentage will be changed, but you can make the constant attribute, you can make the constant content that will be used, that is a no resize, that will be used for the no resize attributes. That is by default you can resize the content, you can resize any frame by clicking and dragging on the borders of a frame. The content that is used, that is no resize, equals to the value, that is a no resize. Now next is scrolling. This attribute is used to scroll the content, that is used to change the or control the appearance of the content that will be used. Next is the scrolling, that is how to change the appearance of the tag, that will be used within the scrolling. So you can either give the value as a yes, no, or auto. Automatically scroll from the up to the down. Yes means scroll from the up, yes. Then no means there is no scrolling, that is not appear. So this attribute controls the appearance of the scroll bar that appears on the frame. This takes values, that is either yes, no, or auto. For example, scrolling equals to no, that means it should not have a scroll bar. That means there is no scroll bar that is available, that is there is no scrolling. Then long descending. So this attributes allows you to provide a link to another page containing a long description of the content of the frame. For example, long descending equals to frame description.html. That means there should be a long description of the content of the page that will be used, that is available, that is a long description of the frame description.html, right? So these are the various attributes that will be used within the frame tag. One is the src, one is the name, one is the frame border, one is the margin width, one is the margin height, one is the no resize, scrolling, and the long descending. Now browser support for the frames. There are many browsers that is used, or that is a supportive browser for the frames. So if a user is using any old browser or any browser which does not support the frames, then no frame element should be displayed to the user. That means there is no frame that will be displayed. That's why we are giving in every code, every program, that there is a no frame tag. So if a user is using any old browser or any browser which does not support the frames, then no frame element should be displayed to the user. So you must place a body element inside the no frames element, because the frame set element is supposed to replace the body element. So whatever the body element that will be used, that is used to replace the content, that is used to replace the body element, that is a no frame set. That is a no frame element that will be used, that is used to display the contents of the page. So if a browser does not understand the frame set element, then it should understand that what is the content that it should be inside the body element, that should be contained in the no frame tag. So whenever we are giving the no frame tag, that will be used within the no frame content. So you can put some nice messages for your user having the old browsers. That is, for example, sorry, your browser does not support the frame. So whatever the content that you are giving, that is available within the frame set, that will be used within the frame set as shown in the above example. That is the frame's name and the target attribute. One of the most popular use of the frame, that is used to navigate bars in one frame and then load the main frame into the separate frame. This is one of the important point. that is the source equals to this one, that is a column equals 200, and the remaining part is a 500 because there are total 700 pixels that is available. So here we have created two columns to fill with two frames. The first frame is of 200 pixel wide, will contain the navigation menu bar implemented by the menu.html file. The second column is the remaining space will contain the main part of the page. So this is the menu part that will be available within the 200 pixel, the main part that will be available in the remaining pixels. For all the three links available in the menu bar, we have mentioned the target framed as a main page. So whenever we click on the menu bar, that will be available within the main page. This is the content of the menu HTML, this is the content of menu HTML, and this is the content of the main HTML. So this is the content of the menu HTML, that is the doc type HTML body BG color. What is the color of the this one? That is the background color. Then ahref equals to, then the URL that is given, then target, that target equals to main page, then target equals to main page. That means you are moving to the main page, that is the menu.html. So the first 20% contains the this one, that is the this part. This is the content, that is a main HTML content, that is a BG color this one. Then H3, this is the main page, and content from any link will be displayed here, that will be available within the H3, that is some bigger content. Then the P, so now click any link and see the result. So user can click on the any link that will be available in the menu bar. So this is look like this one. So this 20% part contains a menu that contains three parts: Google, Microsoft, BBC.com or BBC News. This contains Google, Microsoft. This one, this is the main menu or the main page. That is the main page. So you can click on the result. If you click on the Google, it will display. Microsoft, it will display. So this is how we are using the columns. How we are dividing the main frames into the multiple, or main frame into the multiple frames. Now you can try to click links available in the left panel and see the result. Now the target attribute that will be used over here, that is the target. First is the self, that loads the page into the current frame, that is the self only. Then blank, that loads the page into the new browser window. So if I am giving that the load equals to, or target equals to underscore self, that means it moved to the same or the current frame. This blank moves to the new browser window. Then parent, that loads the page into the parent window, which is in the case of a single frame set is the main browser window. Then top, that loads the page into the browser window and replacing any current frames. That is a top, that means moves to the top frame. Then target frame, that loads the page into the named target frames, that is the target frame. So this is the target attribute that will be used, that contains the multiple values, that contains the multiple options that will be used within the frame set or the frame tag. Now next is the chapter number 16 that I am going to start in the next class, that is a HTML iframe. So we have discussed, or we have finished with the frames. Now the next part is HTML iframes, that is what are the HTML iframes and how it is used. So let's stop over here only. In the next class we will be taking your next chapter, that is chapter number 16, that is the HTML iframes. Alright, so thanks a lot everyone for listening me. Bye bye everyone. We will meet tomorrow with the new chapter, and if there is any doubts, you can ask the doubts from me. Thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye. Yes Joseph, tell me. Yes Joseph, tell me. Good afternoon, how are you? Yeah, good afternoon, how are you? Your SQL query, that I'm not able to find that exact answer, that is how to convert the, because my network problem is available. There is low bandwidth for this one, the net is not available. So give me only one day more. I will confirm you latest by tomorrow. Or either you can check on the internet also, if you have an internet connection. Okay, no issues. I will tell you for sure, because today there is a network problem, internet problem. That's why I'm so sorry for this. All right.